We were born with extraordinary powers, abilities. The next stage in human evolution.
A busy city became a battlefield where mutants fought to survive against deadly sentinels. These robots, something like from a scary movie, didn't give anyone they chased a chance to escape. Meanwhile, in Moscow, the skies are filled with ships releasing more of these scary sentinels. It's like a scene from a futuristic action movie. But don't worry, our mutant heroes aren't giving up. These mutants have all sorts of powers, like controlling fire, changing their shape, teleporting, and controlling ice. They're really giving it their all in their fight. But these sentinels aren't like regular enemies. They can copy the mutants' powers and talk to each other, which makes them really tough opponents. It's an incredible battle between mutants. Just like when things seem really bad, Kitty, a mutant who can walk through walls and share thoughts, comes up with a brave plan. She sends her mind back in time to talk to her past self and change what happens. She's racing against time to try and make things better and save the mutants from being destroyed. Will she make it? Well, you'll have to watch X-Men Days of Future Past to find out. After the intense attack, it's like everything just disappears suddenly. But don't worry, because Professor Charles Xavier is on it. With his amazing powers and some cool gadgets, he finds our group of mutants hiding in a secret place. And guess who joins them? The famous Wolverine, along with the Storm and other superheroes. It's like a big reunion of heroes, even Bob showing off his ice powers. However, the true hero is Kitty, who reveals her incredible power to send someone's mind back in time to prevent future attacks. This is a total game changer, and we can't overlook the other members of the team, such as Apache, who can sense sentinels, and Bishop, who has powerful mind-manipulating abilities. Magneto is particularly excited about their talents and has big plans for using them to change the course of the battle. But the drama doesn't stop there. Professor X shocks everyone by revealing where the Sentinels came from. It turns out they were created by scientist Boulevard Trask in the 70s, using DNA from Mystique, the shapeshifting lady. It's like a mix of a mutant TV show and a really intense movie. With secrets coming out and friendships being tested, our group of heroes is facing their biggest challenge yet, as they get ready to fight the toughest enemy ever. Professor X reveals a big secret, saying that all the trouble started when Mystique made some really bad decisions. But don't worry, because our brave leader has a plan. Kitty, with her amazing power, suggests they go back in time to convince Mystique to do things differently, so that the war never happens. But there's a problem. Every time they go back in time, it takes a toll on their minds, slowly making them weaker until they can't do it anymore. Wolverine has a wild idea. What if his fast healing could help them handle the damage from the time jumps? Knowing it won't be easy, but when you're the best hope for saving the world, you don't shy away from a challenge. Kitty starts the process, and suddenly, Logan wakes up in a completely different world. All of a sudden, he finds himself right in the middle of some sketchy stuff, standing up to three tough guys who clearly don't know who they're dealing with. It's like something you'd see in an old action movie, with Logan prepared to teach these guys a lesson about messing with a mutant on a mission. What a surprise! Before Logan had his famous claws made of adamantium, he had bone claws, but don't underestimate him, he's still really tough. When these tough guys try to shoot him, they realize that hurting a mutant like Logan isn't easy. With his amazing healing powers, Logan doesn't even flinch when bullets hit him. Instead, he easily turns the tables on his attackers. Meanwhile, at the American Security Council, Dr. Balvars faces trouble as people start asking questions about his project with the mutants, even though he tries to explain by referring to a professor from Oxford without saying Charles Xavier's name. The leaders then decide to stop the Sentinel program, but the excitement doesn't stop. The colonel discovers something shocking at a military base. Mutant soldiers are being drugged and ready for transport to Dr. Bulver's company. Just when it seems hopeless, Mystique arrives to save the day, and the other mutants team up to defeat the military staff. With Mystique leading the way, they escape to an aircraft, but Logan decides to make a detour to the old Xavier school before they leave. When Logan gets to the seemingly empty school, he's met by Hank. But Logan isn't going to let a closed school stop him. He's determined, so he goes in and asks to see the professor, but surprising Hank with his sudden visit. Just as things start to get intense, Beast shocks Logan with a surprising revelation. Then Magneto shows up, causing trouble. Charles tries to talk to him, asking everyone to work together and not fight unnecessarily. And just when they think they're safe, they face a new danger. Guards with weapons that aren't made of metal, so Charles can't control them. Eric freezes everything to help, but then Quicksilver shows up. He's super fast and takes out the guards in no time, saving the day with his quick moves. They then quickly escape to Paris to avoid any more trouble, but the excitement isn't over yet. Meanwhile, Mystique is up to her usual tricks. tricking a Vietnamese captain and showing off her mutant abilities. Back on Charles's plane, he and Eric have a serious talk about Mystique, and Charles blames Eric a bit for what she's done. But even though they don't always agree, Eric says sorry, realizing they can still make things better. In the morning, Dr. Bolvar shows off his new creation, the Sentinel weapon, saying it will keep them safe from danger. When the news shows Beast using his mutant powers, everyone realizes mutants are real and strong. But before they can relax, Kitty helps Logan's mind and sends him back to the past. With everything going crazy and people wanting to know what's going on, they know they have to leave quickly. Meanwhile, at the White House, the president deals with news that the mutants are real and could be dangerous. Dr. Bolvar suggests using his Sentinel project as a solution. These robots are made of a special material and can't be controlled by mutants, but Mystique has to stay with Bolvar for his experiments. Across town, Eric sees Raven's blood being taken for research and realizes how dangerous it could be. He decides to talk to Raven, telling her he's changed his mind and warning her about the dangerous future they're facing. But Raven is focused on revenge and sees Bolvar as the one who hurt her friends. Meanwhile, Charles is dealing with his own problems at his mansion. He's in pain and hearing things in his head. Logan knows they need Charles and his powers to find Raven and stop the chaos before it's too late. As they feel the pressure of their mission, Professor Xavier's encouraging words give young Charles hope and strength to keep going on with confidence. Meanwhile, Magneto decides to act on his own, using his powers to control the train carrying the dangerous robots, getting ready for a huge fight. In the future, the mutants wake up to a sad situation. Kitty's getting worse, and Bob wants to do something to help her. Watching the news, Hank and Charles wonder about what's going to happen in the future. They're not sure if things are already decided or if they can still make a difference. Even though things are unsure, Charles is sure that Raven can still change for the better. This sets up a big, tense showdown that will decide what happens to mutants. With everyone feeling tense and things more important than ever, our heroes have to work together to face the tough times ahead and make things better. And just when you think the story's done, Logan gets thrown into the lake by Magneto and seems like he's gone. But he actually survives because he heals really fast. As word about the stopped Sentinel program spreads, Logan comes out of the lake, ready for whatever happens next. But that's not the end. We go back in time to ancient Egypt, when the Great Pyramids were being built. Over there, people worship someone as a god, and it turns out to be Apocalypse. This sets up a whole new problem for mutants in the future. And with that, the story comes to an end, so do let us know which movie we should pick next. Also, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Until next time, see you all!
In the future.
Do I make it?
No.